students, today we will discuss about the Cinematograph Act of 1952. There can be no discussion of Indian culture without mentioning the Indian cinema. India produces more films than any other country in this globe. India produces nearly 1800 films in a year, and these are screened in more than 10,000 theaters or cinema halls. The Indian cinema attracts more audience. So for many years, the Indian film industry has ranked first in the world in terms of annual output. Indian cinema composed of various language film industries. Indian cinema is a global enterprise, and films which are produced in India have wide viewership and fan base throughout the South Asia and more than 9 countries in the world. Millions of Indian overseas also watch Indian films, and that accounts more than 12% of the total box office revenues. The history of Indian cinema extends back to the beginning of the films which were made during 1896, and Louis Lumiere and Robert Paul, both the brothers, they first screened moving pictures in London in the year 1896. That was a commercial photography that became worldwide sensation during the time. And both Lumiere, Louis Lumiere and Robert Paul, they also screened the film in India in Bombay. The film, which was made by Louis Lumiere and Paul Robert, is called as Workers Leaving the Lumiere Factory. It is also known as The Employees Leaving the Lumiere Factory, and it is a French short film, black and white silent documentary film that was directed by the Louis Lumiere and his brother. It is a 38-second documentary short film. If you see the silent films during 1890s and 1920s, in 1897, a film presentation by Professor Stevenson featured a stage show at Calcutta's Star Theatre with the Stevenson camera and his encouragement. Hiralal Sen, an Indian photographer, made a film consisting of scenes from that show, namely The Flower of Persia, in the year 1898. 1899, by H.S. Bhattavdekar, showing a wrestling match at the Hanging Gardens in Bombay, was the first film to be shot by an Indian and the first Indian documentary film. The first Indian film that was released in India was Sri Pundalik, that was directed by Dada Saheb Torne. It was released on 18th May 1912. It was a 22-minute long silent film in Marathi language. It was screened at Coronation Cinematograph, Bombay. Some have argued that Sri Pundalik was not the first Indian film because it was a photographic recording of a play, and because the cameraman was a British man named Johnson, and the film was processed in London. The second full-length motion picture in India, Raja Harishchandra, that was produced by Dada Saheb Phalke or Dundi Raj Govind Phalke. He is considered as the pioneer of Indian film industry. Released on May 3rd, 1913. It was a silent film in Marathi language, and here male actors also played the role of female actors, and only one print of the film was made for showing at Coronation Cinematograph on May 3rd, 1913. It was a commercial success. When it comes to the Tamil language, Keechakavadam was the first silent film that was produced by Nataraja Mudaliar in the year 1916. When it comes to the Malayalam film industry, Vigata Kumaran was considered as the first Malayalam feature film that was made in the year in 19 1928 by J.C. Daniel Nadar. The Vigata Kumaran was the first Indian social drama feature film and also which incorporates the first Dalit actress in the Indian film industry. In South India, the first Telugu and Tamil bilingual talkie that is called Kalidas, it was released on October 31st, 1931. The film industry in India gained popularity and the tickets were also affordable to the masses at that time and due to the additional comforts available at cinema halls, people used to go to cinema halls and watch films. And young producers also began to produce movies. They introduced social life and culture in Indian cinema and also brought new ideas from across the world. When it comes to the talkies, where we have the sound during 1930s and mid 1940s, Ardeshir Irani released Alam Ara, the first Indian talkie, on 14 March 1931. Irani also later produced first South Indian talkie film called Kalidas, which was directed by H.M. Reddy, released on 31st October 1931. It was a bilingual film released in Telugu and Tamil language at the same time. Jumai Shasti was the first Bengali talkie. On January 8, 1937, Kisan Kanya, which was directed by Moti B, was the first color film made in India by Indian. Even though the first film which was released in India in the year 1913, that is Raja Harishchandra, the Cinematograph Act was passed only in the year 1920, which means after 7 years of the release of Raja Harishchandra. Originally, when the Cinematograph Act, which came into force in the year 1920, based on that, there were censor boards which were constituted. They were originally the independent bodies. They were placed under the police chief. In cities of Madras, now it is known as Chennai, Bombay, now it is known as Mumbai, Kolkata, now Kolkata, Lahore, now it is in Pakistan, and Rangoon, now in Yangon, which is in Myanmar, Burma. These censor boards that used to regulate the exhibition of films in our country. But after the independence, autonomy of these regional censors were abolished and they were brought under Bombay Board of Film Censors. With the implementation of the Cinematograph Act of 1952, the board was unified and reconstituted as the Central Board of Film Censors. Cinematograph certification rules were revised in the year 1983 and since then, the Central Board of Film Censors were known as the Central Board of Film Certification. Now, CBFC is the body that is regulating the exhibition of films in our country. CBFC or Central Board of Film Certification, often it is referred as Censor Board. It is a statutory censorship and classification body under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India. The CBFC is regulating the public exhibition of films under the provisions of Cinematograph Act of 1952. Films can be publicly exhibited only after the films are certified by the CBFC or Central Board of Film Certification. So after the certification only, the films can be exhibited in cinema halls and they can be transmitted through any of the television networks after they are certified by the CBFC board. The board consists of a chairman and other members, non-official members. They are more than 13 members or not more than 25 members. They are to be appointed by the central government. The board functions with its headquarters at Mumbai and it also has at present 9 regional offices, each at Bengaluru, Chennai, Qatar, Guwahati, Kolkata, Mumbai, New Delhi, Thiruvananthapuram, and Hyderabad. The regional offices are assisted in the examination of films by advisory panels. The members of advisory panels are nominated by the central government by drawing people from different walks of life for a period of 2 years. The board shall hold office for a term of 3 years. The chairman of the board will hold office for a term of 3 years or till the next chairman is appointed by the central government to take charge as the chairman of the Central Board of Film Certification. The term of the members of the CBFC board is also 3 years. In the absence of the chairman, due to ill health or due to any other reason, when he is not able to discharge his duties as the chairman of the CBFC, then any member of the CBFC board is going to be appointed or nominated by the central government to discharge functions as the chairman of the board till he resumes his duties. The central government constitutes advisory panels at each regional offices of the board. Central government, by consulting the board, may appoint any person or as a member of the advisory panels. The term of the advisory panels is 2 years. Application for examination of the films. So every application to certify a film for public exhibition shall be made in writing. Application shall be addressed to the board and delivered to the regional officer. Application along with the fee, 8 copies in case of feature films, 5 copies in case of other films, along with synopsis of the film, along with credit titles, full text of the songs, reel numbers, 1 copy of the shooting script, statement showing the reel-wise length of the film, etc., or to be attached in case of the regional language films, 8 copies of the translation in Hindi or English, synopsis, full text of the songs, 1 copy of the dialogues are to be submitted for getting the certification by the CBFC board. And examination of the films on receipt of the application, the regional officer shall appoint an examining committee to examine the film. The names of the examining committee should not be disclosed to any person. And after examination of the film, the board may sanction the film for unrestricted public exhibition or can be watched by a child below 12 years of age under the parental guidance or restricted for adults above 18 years and only people associated with like engineers, doctors, scientists, etc. can be watched. So when a producer or director approaches the CBFC board for certification of the film, after examination of the films, the CBFC board certifies the films under 4 categories. The 4 categories of certification includes U certification, UA certification, A certification, and S certification. As of 2022, the board issues 4 certificates. Originally, there were only 2 certificates, U and A, and in the year 1983 June, 2 more were added. Those include U by A and S. U certificate. U certificate is the first category of certificates which are issued by the CBFC board. U certified films are unrestricted public exhibition. And here, the films with U certification are fit for unrestricted public exhibition and those are family-friendly films. These films can contain universal themes like education, family, drama, romance, science fiction, action, etc. These also may contain some mild violence, but it should not be prolonged. It may also contain mild sexual scenes, but without any traces of nudity or sexual in detail. And the second category of certification is done, that is UA certification. Films with UA certification can contain moderate adult themes that is not strong in nature and can be watched by a child below 12 years of age under the parental guidance. So these UA certified films also can contain moderate to strong violent scenes, moderate sexual scenes, and frightening scenes or muted abusive language. When it comes to the third category of films, that is A certified films, A certification films are available for public exhibition only for the adults, those who are above the age of 18 years. So these films can contain brutality, strong violence, strong sexual scenes, strong abusive language, but words which insult or degrade women or any social group, etc. And nudity are not allowed in these kind of A-certified films. Some of the controversial and adult themes to be considered unsuitable for young viewers. Such films are often recertified with V by U and V by UA for television and video viewing, which does not happen in case of U and UA certified films. When it comes to the fourth category, certified films, that is S certification films, films with S certification should be viewed by the public for whom the film is made. Only people who are associated with, like engineers, doctors, scientists, have permission to watch those kind of films. And the CBFC board also may refuse to certify a film. In addition to the four categories of certification, there is also a possibility that the CBFC board may also refuse to certify a film at all.